What's good, everybody? It's your boy, the Blackest of Mics, aka the Black Mic, and this is the Black Mic TV. Thank y'all for joining me. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys the importance of a microphone preamp. Stay tuned. Fire! So before we get started, I definitely want to send a shout out to all of my following. Thank you. We are nearing a community of 1,000 subscribers, and that is amazing. And big shout out to all the viewers who viewed my most viewed video, which is me talking about my vocal chain. I have a link right here. Over 25,000 views, which is amazing. So in that video, I pretty much talked about my vocal chain, starting with the preamps, equalizers, compressors, and gates. In lieu of that, what I wanted to do was pretty much spend a little more time, make a video of each part of the vocal chain to kind of show you and provide understanding as to why we need each part of the vocal chain and why they are important. All right, so I know most of you guys are asking, what is a preamp? We all know that we need it, but what exactly is a preamp? So a preamp is called, in full, a preamplifier. Now what that preamplifier does is take your signal from your microphone from microphone level to line level. Now what the difference is, if you connect your microphone directly into your computer, if you could, without a preamp, it'll give you a really weak signal. Now what the preamp does is boost that microphone signal to line level. Now what line level is the sound level that most audio devices recognize to be loud. Otherwise, it'd be super duper low. So without the preamp, you just be hearing the microphone signal and a lot of noise, like a lot of noise coming from the converters or whatever you're connecting into, whatever audio interface you're connecting into, supposing it doesn't have a preamp. Okay, so right now I'm gonna demonstrate what noise actually is. Like, we know what white noise sounds like. That's that shh, right? So this is the noise that the circuits make. So I'm gonna turn the input gain all the way up. All right, that was too much. So all of that noise that you heard that wasn't like things going on in the other room, you know, my kids are watching the movie, but all of that noise that you heard, that is the noise that is coming from the circuits in that preamplifier that's built into the Apollo. So what the preamp essentially does is increases the microphone input, making it louder, so you don't even really hear the noise. You don't hear the noise as much as you would had you not had a preamp. And you can turn it up later inside your DAW, but when you turn up that signal that you recorded with no preamp, you'll also be turning up the noise from those converters, and it's not really a pleasing sound. So again, we already know that we need preamps. This is why we need preamps, so that we can have more of a cleaner signal, less noise. Now there are quite a few different types, brands of preamps, but one thing is universal in all of them, the gain knob. That gain knob allows for more voltage to go into the microphone or the converters that allows you to have more volume. So there are two common types of preamps, the solid state circuit and the tubes. The solid state is a lot more common as it is cheaper and it requires less voltage than the tubes. The more voltage you have, the more noise that the circuit creates. But here's the silver lining. The tubes, although require more voltage, they produce harmonics, whereas the solid state circuits, they don't. They're generated at random. White noise or noise that we know of that isn't as pleasing as the harmonic tones that the tubes generate. So again, the choice is yours. Would you prefer to have a tube preamp or a solid state preamp? For instance, more common ones like the Focusrite Scarlett and even the UAD interfaces all have solid state. They do sound pretty good. So one of the things you want to look out for when choosing a preamp is its EIN, and that is the equivalent input noise. And that's how much noise the circuits within the preamp generate at different levels. Now, one rule of thumb that you have to or should be looking out for is the lowest number EIN is possible. That's measured in dBUs. So for example, the Apollo Twin, which is most common, or which I use, that has an EIN of negative 128 dBu. And an even more common Focusrite Scarlett has an EIN of negative 129 dBu. So based on the specifications of both, it's clear to say that the Focusrite Scarlett has or is listed as having a lower EIN than the Apollo. And that's not to say that one is better than the other, but it's simply to say that one produces less noise than the other. Now, for instance, Scarlett is cheaper, Apollo is more expensive. Apollo has DSP, which allows for you to run those Apollo plugins or UAD plugins without a problem. And the Scarlett does not have anything like that. So you pretty much can find or choose which one works out for you, because at the end of the day, it's based on your budget and what you like. Now, after you've chosen a preamp and you wanted to start recording, it's something that's really, really important. The goal is you want to make sure that you maximize your signal to noise ratio. Don't have your signal as much as your noise, because if you have to turn your signal up, you'll also be turning up your noise. But you want to be able to maximize that. So having your input a lot louder, your signal, that microphone signal, you want to send as much of it as possible without clipping. So here's a signal of just the microphone going straight into the interface without using the onboard preamp. This is the test, 1, 2. This is a test. Preamp not really engaged. Preamp not engaged. And this is with more, this is with more, and this is when we start to go into distortion. I'm not going to do that. I found a nice little sweet spot that I felt like is cool and good enough, so that's around 31. I'm in Pro Tools, and I recorded some examples of different levels of the preamp, right? So this first audio clip, or track 1, is without the preamp engaged at all. As you can see, the transients are almost non-existent, but you can gain it up. But all that right here, this beginning part, is noise, unnecessary information that you wouldn't want to have. So that's why we want to stay away from that if we don't need to. If we start out the right way, we don't have to really do much correcting. And that's the whole point, or the rule of thumb, or the goal to have with recording, is to make sure that you capture the best or optimal sound that you can possibly have given your environment. All right, so moving forward, we have here the second track where I gained it up maybe a quarter of the way, and you can see more of the transients. And personally, I wouldn't say this is like the way I would go, but this isn't bad. If you need to be here, then cool. This here better than this. So right here is mid-tone. This is halfway about where I have it right now. Actually a little bit more than where I have it now. And this is probably the best you're gonna get, right? The best optimal input level that I would suggest. You can see the transients, it's there. If you need to trim some down, that's would come with your other processes that you would use, such as a compressor, right? So next off, this is about 3/4 of the way, and I can honestly say that it is, yeah, that is almost at clipping level right here. It's, you have no headroom here, like no headroom. And finally, as you can see, this track is totally distorted, definitely clipping. You want to make sure that you stay around right here where you give yourself some headroom to turn up or turn it down if you need to, or compress it, or whatever the case may be. This gives you little to no headroom. So finding that sweet spot, I'm going to go right back to console here. So this right here is what I would deem to be my sweet spot. So you have to find yours based on your microphone, how loud your microphone starts, the input signal that your mic is sending, and your particular audio interface or preamp that you're connecting into. In this case, I'm connecting into my universal audio twin. All right, guys, that about wraps up this video on preamp. So I hope that you learned something. If you feel like I was leaving something out, feel free to let me know down in the comments. If you have any questions as well, let me know down in the comments. And if you found some value in this, more importantly, please like and subscribe. I'm here. I'm looking to gain more subscribers, finally get to that 1,000 mark, but I know we can get there with you guys. So please stay on the lookout for upcoming videos where I'm going to be talking about equalization and compressors. So stay tuned for that. Again, this is DaBlackMic TV. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Fire!